So moving on to the men's semis now, we've got obviously Djokovic and Nadal still favourites. Obviously, Federer was the second favourite; he's out. But Djokovic's price has dropped even further. He's now 1.83. Nadal's 2.4. So very interesting to see how the semi-finals they will play out here. So first one is Tsitsipas, like the fly. Hey, Whale.
That's right.
Inside joke there. But and Rafael Nadal. Obviously, Rafael Nadal, a huge favourite here. He has looked good. He seems quite determined. He's obviously incredibly low priced to win this match. Was anybody holding your futures on Tsitsipas? No.
No, I didn't.
No.
I didn't.
All right.
I had RBA here, so.
That was a head-to-head, wasn't it? It was Ardeal against Whale Capper and Alex, and it was Alex and Whale Capper that won that head-to-head. Yeah. Yes.
And honestly, a Tsitsipas future probably did not have nearly as much value as if you simply parlayed him against Federer, against Nadal, and against Djokovic, because he's going to have to eliminate all of the big three in order to win this title. And if you just parlay those three legs together, I bet you would have gotten better odds than his pre-tournament 50-1 or whatever it was, because his path has been just utterly ridiculous. And the fact that he beat Federer, a lot of people thought, hey, congratulations, you made your accomplishment, great job. But he backed it up with a very gutsy win against RBA, who was playing far more dangerously than the scoreline would suggest. I personally, I'm a little disappointed in the way that they have made the schedule for this tournament. I really, really wish that they had put the two men's semifinals on the same day, and we could have gotten another day of rest for Tsitsipas before he goes head-to-head with Nadal, because that's the differentiating factor for me in this match. Besides the fact that Nadal is obviously a much more accomplished player, if you're sitting on the sidelines and you're saying, does Tsitsipas have a chance here? I think we would be having a different conversation if this match were being played a day later and he had another day to kind of regroup from this grueling run that he's had. There were points in time during that match against RBA where it looked like he was on absolute fumes, and it was like, dam's going to break any minute here. I don't know how much longer he can really keep this up. With 1 day of rest, he's a young guy. He's got that going for him, obviously, against the rest of the older vets in this field. But is 1 day rest enough to recuperate from the toll that all of this best of 5 tennis has probably taken on him? And that's a tough question. So I would probably be stumping for he's going to be a dangerous competitor for Nadal if he had gotten a little bit more rest, or if he had dispatched RBA a little bit more easily, maybe. But yeah, this looks pretty compelling that Nadal is going to come away with a victory here. And speaking of Nadal, we were on the same page, Ardeal, at the beginning of this tournament that, number one, he's coming into this with no previous tournament experience. That's usually a very poor bellwether for Nadal. He almost always needs to have some reps under him before he's playing his top level. That has completely gone out the window. He got all of that out of the way, presumably, in his lackluster first-round matchup against Duckworth. And since then, he's just been, absolutely robotic and routining guys on hard court in a way we haven't seen him do in years. And I got to tell you, get me in touch with his doctor, man. This guy, Nadal, was like he was averaging like 1 ace per match on hard court through last summer and fall. And now he's averaging 11. Like this kind of physical turnaround and ability to turn his service game into this unbreakable, dynamo is just wild. And I'm not I'm not suggesting that this is totally sustainable. And if you kind of read between the lines of some of the press he did after his match against Tiafoe, he's definitely carrying some sort of abdominal injury right now. And that may rear its ugly head at some point. But he's played so far and away so much less tennis than Tsitsipas has to this point in the tournament, that it's really tough for me to come up with a way in for Tsitsipas to get enough ground in this one to win the match outright. So Nadal going to the finals. Best of luck against Djokovic. I think he's going to get his clock cleaned in the finals personally, but we'll talk about that on Friday.
Yeah, and I tell you what, on Monday, remember we were looking at the futures for name the finalists, and Djokovic and Nadal, I think, was about 2.5. They're now 1.2. That has seriously dropped. That's gone. That ship has sailed. But it's totally gone there. So do you have an official play there for Tsitsipas and Nadal there, Whale Capper?
Yeah, I took 2 plays. I think we see an impressive effort from Tsitsipas early. I think that his path to victory is to put pressure on Nadal out of the gate. He has to get a foothold in the first set. If he does not, then he likely gets dispatched the same way Tiafoe did. And Nadal is a player that builds strength as you go through the match. You cannot expect to get him, especially as much tennis as Tsitsipas has played, you can't expect him to get the better of him in set 4 or 5. So you got to jump on him early. In that vein, I like Tsitsipas first set games handicap +1.5 at +125.
Mm-hmm.
That means him basically he can win the first set or he can lose 7-6 in a tiebreak, and that is a winning play. I also like the games over 36.5 at -105. Back in cash, whether or not we see a fourth set, and the way Nadal, the way that their strengths match up against each other. If we see a tiebreak in the first couple sets, I won't be totally shocked. So it's going to be tough to cash without 4 sets. But basically, I got my fingers crossed that Tsitsipas wins the first set in a tiebreak 7-6, and then Nadal takes care of business from there on.
Okay, is that the way you see the game playing out, Ardeal?
Basically yes. But I think Nadal will win it more easily than you expected. I have here an amazing stat. Nadal has now hold serve for 60 times straight during the Australian Open. He lost the last time serve against Duckworth while serving for the match. And after that, he played Ebden 3 sets, De Minaur 3 sets Berdy, and 3 sets Tiafoe. And in the last 2 matches, I think he didn't face that man. Against Tiafoe, he faced a few breakpoints, but against Berdy, he was untouchable. The fact that he serves so good now is because he's changed the service motion. He doesn't slide it that much. He hits a more flat serve, and he's more aggressive from the baseline. And we can see that that is improving for him for the service. To lose only 2 service games in the 5 matches, 5 3-setters is amazing. Another matchup thing that I saw written by someone, and I saw also the videos, is that Nadal wins a lot of points from the at side, because the opponents that use an one-handed backhand had to slice the return because it's too wide from the baseline, and he punches 1-2 and he closes very easily. You can ask Federer in the past years. He knows that better than anybody. The fact that Tsitsipas defeated Bautista is amazing. I think Bautista should have won there in 3 sets because he was 4-2 in all first 3 sets. He got out of gas. Bautista, I didn't expect that. Tsitsipas somehow found the energy to finish this match in a impressive way, because he served only. The 4th set was a serving contest. It was like Karlovic versus Isner. Another fun fact, because you said the first set might be on Tsitsipas' side, is that Tsitsipas lost his serve in the first game of the match against the RBA, and he faced 2 break points in the first game of the match against Federer. So I think that Nadal will break early. The fact is that they will play at night in a humid condition with the slower courts, and Rod Laver Arena is the slowest of them all. So I think that the serve will help Tsitsipas keep close, but I think that in the end Nadal will win this rather easily. And my play here is Nadal minus 6.5. He can win this by this margin also in 4 sets, no problem. We have seen this also in 5 sets if Tsitsipas wins by 3 games in the first 2 sets. So this handicap is better than the 3-0 handicap. I think Nadal will dispatch him in set 2 and 3. So this is my play here.
Right. All right. Final match here. Djokovic, Pouille, 1.08. He's been the favorite the whole tournament long. He's in good form. Should be a comfortable win here. But I don't know, when predicting soccer as well, with such a huge favorite, it is hard to find value. Ardeal, I know that value is, one of the keys to your betting tactics here. Have you been able to find value that's tempting for you to play it?
No, this match is just for me. This match is just for fun. I think that Djokovic, for fun, for the tennis lovers. It's funny that Tsitsipas. One moment, Tsitsipas, Pouille. We're talking about Pouille. Pouille has had 2 tiebreaks in each match in the last 4 matches. He was serving insanely good. That means also that he served insanely good, but he also returned very poorly. That's a knife with two faces. If you cannot break Djokovic's serve, you are doomed to follow him scoring down. If Djokovic is serving first, then you might see just the abyss of this match. Pouille is also very very tired, in my opinion. He managed to defeat Raonic, but Raonic has shown absolutely nothing in this quarterfinal. I don't know what happened. He didn't serve good. He didn't move well. His net play is top 3 in ATP, and he played like top 50 player at the net. He didn't do anything in the match, and I think Pouille deservingly is here in the semi-final. He had a lucky draw also to meet Kukushkin, Martyr, and Popyrin in the first 3 rounds, and after that he faced Koric that was drunk on court, and Raonic that was in his C or D play. I think that Djokovic, as he played only an hour or something like that against Nishikori, is also very fit, and I think he will win 3-love. But I don't see any value, because Pouille might serve heads off for 1 set and get in a tiebreak, and we saw that Djokovic is vulnerable in that tiebreak because it's very short time period, and he can lose. I don't see any value in this match, so my opinion is to stay away, because the prices are too low, the handicap are too high, and I think they priced it pretty good.
Yeah, and bookies do that, don't they? Sometimes it's like they don't want you to bet, or sometimes they just sew things up that there is no value. And just looking at also the outrights as well, Djokovic 1.83 to win at the moment, Pouille 41. I think that says a lot as well. Like, Whale Capper, were you able to find any value on this one, or again, is this just for the tennis lovers?
Well, you mentioned. Let's start with the outrights. I personally, in the back of my head, still don't believe in Nadal being able to win this title, and maybe that's my folly. Maybe that's my maybe that's my bias coming into this that's affecting that. And the fact that you can still get Djokovic at minus 110 is mind blowing to me. If you haven't already locked up some of that, and I'm fully loaded at this point. As we've seen, kind of the key players who could beat him get eliminated. I keep adding a little bit more and a little bit more. So I'm pretty heavily invested in Djokovic at this point. Even if you are like an arbitrager kind of person, like, there is no reason not to look for Djokovic at this shorter price now, because unless something wild happens in these semifinal matches, you are likely going to see prices like Djokovic minus 160 to minus 180 against Nadal in the final, right? So why not get minus 110 now if on Saturday morning it's going to be minus 160, 180? That makes tons of sense to me. And you can even potentially come back and look for Nadal like plus 1.5 or plus 1.5 sets. Basically, hoping for a 5-setter where you hit both. And because if Djokovic beats Nadal 3-2 and you're holding lots of Djokovic futures, and then Nadal wins at least two sets, then you're covered there. It would be a great way to kind of have your feet up for the final, not really have to handicap too hard, because I don't see any kind of set of circumstances here where Pouille truly pushes Djokovic to where we're like, wow, Djokovic is really screwed now for the final, and Nadal just wipes the floor with Tsitsipas, and you see a market open for that game that favors Nadal. Almost certainly Djokovic is going to be the favorite in this final. And so if you're kind of looking ahead, if you're like, these semifinals are a waste of time, but I want to position myself well for the final, you can do that pretty aggressively right now, the way that these futures are priced, in my opinion. As far as the match itself goes, I give Pouille a little bit more credit than Ardeal does. I think that he has played some pretty inspired tennis, and having not won a single match in Melbourne in his entire career up until this Grand Slam, and them making a run all the way to the semifinals is very impressive to me. And I give him some credit. Give his coach, Emily Mauresmo, new coach this year. She definitely deserves a lot of credit. She's helped him kind of keep his approach reined in, keep him focused on tennis, which is kind of the one thing that was always lacking for Pouille, because he has all the tools, and he's young, he's powerful, he's got the game for it. And not only is he serving very well right now, but his return game is on point. You saw that last match with Raonic. Raonic's serve was not especially poor, I didn't think. But Pouille was getting everything back in play, establishing some rallies, and using to his advantage, the way to attack Raonic, which was very impressive to me. So I think Pouille can, test Djokovic a little bit more so than, expecting just a straight set slam dunk here for Djokovic. Crown him, put him in the final. Let's move on with this. So, I think I haven't entirely settled on place here. I don't know if I'm going to look for Pouille to win at least a set, or if I'm going to look for a game's over or a set's over. But I do think that it should be a competitive, interesting match, especially the way that Pouille is returning right now. And I keep calling him Pouille, whatever his name is. He should, he's got nothing to lose. He hasn't really played so much tennis that I'm afraid of him running out of gas. There should be a lot of opportunities for breaks from both players. So there might be a fun market. Now that we're in the semifinals, there might be some fun markets to attack, like breaks in the match over or something like that, because I could see both players being able to get purchase and break their opponent's serve. I don't think this is going to be a hold fest or just a couple of breaks on the part of Djokovic and sort of a routine victory. So should be a fun match. I'm looking forward to it. I'm just sad that it's the only match we have to watch tomorrow. So
at least you guys will be getting your sleep back soon. How's it?
That's a good point.
Yeah. So next week you're all bit like, there's always a silver lining to every cloud, isn't there? All right. Yeah. How exciting! So some things you've agreed in, some things is head to head, and yes.
I have something. I have another bet. A double for the doubles matches, the ATP doubles matches. We are not talking that much about the doubles, but I follow them also. I have a double where both favorites win in the semifinals. The one is Conti and Pierce to defeat Mayer Sousa, and Herbert Mahut to defeat Harrison Querrey. I think that in the semifinals, the more experienced double players are very favored to win the matches. Despite Harrison being also a slam winner, I don't think that he will have a good time along Querrey. And Leo Mayer and João Sousa are way over their heads, I think, for a semi-final in a Grand Slam. So this is a double that I like here. It's like 150 both of them and 225 as a double.
Hey, nice, nice. Do you have any doubles, Whale Capper?
No.
No.
So I like those looks though. That sounds fun.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.